brownish. It was mucusy, had a tint of pink and a little bit of blood. Tiny, like a spot. So I'm like, what the heck is this? Now I do have endo and I do have adenomyosis. So I'm like, okay, could be ovulation, something. It wasn't ovulation because I'm supposed to get my period. So I'm like, well, maybe it's coming. Maybe it's coming. Okay. Then the same day, there is a thin mucus, just brown, like a streak. Okay. I was like, that's weird. Okay. So I'm like, this is probably just normal. So I'm ignoring it. All right. Had some cramping. Bleeding stopped after the 10th day. I'm sorry, not 10th day, after 2 days. So from the 9th to the 10th, and it stopped bleeding. Then I was having cramping, just like, it felt like menstrual cramps. I was having lower back pain. I was like, well, maybe it's my endometriosis because that does do that sometimes. So I'm like, well, it's probably just some normal. Okay. After that, the next day, I got this really long, abnormal, mucus, thick, gumpy. It was just long. I had a lot, and I mean a lot, of increased vaginal discharge, abnormal. I had no infection, no UTI. We all checked that. It was cleared. So then I'm like, okay, it's not that. So maybe it's just, I don't know. And so every day it just got worse and worse and increased vaginal, increased, just long, white, gooey. I was talking to this OBGYN nurse, who was walking me through the process because I was like, what the heck is going on? And they were like, this could be implantation, but don't get your hopes up. Just kind of have to wait to see what happens. And so I'm like, okay. So then what happened? So that increased vaginal discharge was happening like 10 to 12 days. Okay. I need some water. Then my boobs became to be very swollen. They hurt tremendously. I could not even wear a bra. Then, and that was like a week later, my veins started to get more visible. You can see them more. And then a couple days later, it spread to my abdomen. It was very kind of light, but it was there. And then it spread to my feet. My feet were swollen, and they had lots of veins on there. Well, we all have veins, but it was dark and bright, and you can see them clear as day. Okay, so I'm like, okay, and I showed my mom, and she was just like, just watch for it. My veins they looked like spider veins. Okay. They look like veins, and it kind of just like varicose veins. So then the OBGYN nurse that I was talking to said, with hormones and your blood flow, if you really, if you are implantation, that's your body getting ready for a baby, and your hormones, your blood flow, it gets, crazy, and that's where the veins come. Yes, don't worry. I know that it gets the period thing too. Okay, that's why it's kind of very like, am I pregnant? Period, because they kind of have the same symptoms. Okay, but then after that, the veins never went away. Now I was hoping, I'm like, well, we need to try, whatever. So then I'm like, Erin, we have to do it, whatever, because we're trying to have a baby. And so, we're acting like nothing's happening. Like, we'll just try, because I had no idea what was happening to my body. So we pretended it wasn't there. Okay. So we just did it, and whatever. Ovulation, I was not ovulating. Usually I do. My last real menstrual cycle was on January. I never, because usually when I sit on the bathroom, usually when you have your period, girls, usually there's blood in the toilet, right? Okay. And usually I have clots of like my issues, but this time around, no clots. And that was like, whoa, what? And it would only happen when I would wipe. It would just, so there was no blood in the toilet. It was just when I was wiping, but it was very, very light. Not even enough to fill up a tampon. So then I'm like, this is just so weird. And then one week I was tired, which is I was very tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sleep. And then I had a craving. It was only a couple days, but I just wanted to eat. I was hungry. So, and then that stopped a couple days ago later. And then what happened next? Okay. So then the discharge stopped. Just stopped. So I was like, okay, interesting. Okay. Well. So again, I did not ovulate. I usually do. So that's also telling me, okay, I'm not ovulating. I usually do. Since October, I've had a pretty normal cycle, 3 to 4 days of bleeding. Fine. Okay. Moving on. I was supposed to get, me not knowing. Oh yeah, before I forget. I did have a false, or not false positive, but I had a test that came positive. Okay. Turns out it was, not, because I tested the next week and it was negative. So I tested, it's positive. Next week, it wasn't. And I even confirmed that with the doctor. So then, I was like, okay, well now I'm not pregnant. So maybe I'm going to get my period next month. So this is this month. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'm due to get my period on the 8th, the 9th. So I'm like, okay. So on the 8th, there was some brown mucusy. I was like, okay. I'm like, well, maybe it's old blood. Maybe it's old blood and it's transitioning to new blood. Okay. So that's when I told you, I think I got my period because I thought I did. Nah. Next day. Had some pink discharge. Just pink. Very, very light pink. Okay? There was pink and there was some tissue. Okay? Just some tissue in there. And I was like, what's going on? And so I'm like, okay, well then maybe it's I'm like, where's the blood? Come on, where's the blood? Where's the blood? Where is the blood? No. Mm-mm. Then it stopped. Then it just went away for a few hours. No blood. And during all of this, I was having bad back pain, lower back pain. My veins were still there. My boobs were huge. They were sore. The veins got darker and darker, which was leading up to my neck. I don't know if you guys can tell right here, but I don't know if you guys can tell. I'll take this off so you guys can see. But, anyway, so that just got worse and worse and worse and more visible. And I'm like, what is going on? So then I'm like, okay, then it came back again. Pink discharge. And I'm like, what? I'm like, where is my period? Now, mind you, I didn't tell anybody this because it's no one's business. Because remember the last time I was trying to like tell you guys this and you guys were all so triggered. Okay, so I just didn't do it, which I don't mean to trigger anybody because I have a hard time with conceiving. You're not the only one that gets triggered. But you know what? I don't feel bad because y'all triggered me. So, fair is fair, right? Anyway, that happened. I had a lot of, my hormones were whacked. I felt, I was throwing up in the morning. It was only for a couple of days. And so, then what happened? Everyone was telling me, Gabby, go into the hospital. Go to the hospital. Aaron was getting upset with me because Aaron's like, Gabby, this is not normal. You have to go to the hospital. Because Aaron's like, well, what if it's an ectopic pregnancy? Because what if this? Because I never have I ever experienced this before. Not once. It was very mucusy. So then, after 3 days, in this month time, March, 3 days of the pink in the mucus brown, gone. I'm not bleeding now. I haven't bled since the 8th. So 8, 9, 10. 10 was the last one. I was done. Then it stopped for 1 day. And then I was still having cramping. My back was hurting. Then I got a discharge. A streak of brown. Looked like mucus, cervical mucus. And then pink discharge. And there was a clot, and it had tissue wrapped around it. So when I took another test, it was negative. Okay. I'm like, something's wrong. Something's going on here. And so everyone was so mad at me. My mom was like, Gabby, you need to go in. Because if it is an ectopic pregnancy, you can die. So I was in the bathroom one day and something happened and I said, it's time. It's time to go in. So I went into the hospital and they did their exam. They did whatever they did. They did blood work. They did an STD because of the increased vaginal discharge. You know, not that I have it, which I don't. It came back negative. Then, like the veins and all that and the discharge and everything like that, he called it a chemical pregnancy. Today, I just got a confirmation that it's a chemical pregnancy from my OBGYN. She also said the HGC levels test based on the timeline, you would not have any in your system. The baby already passed. And she told me she was sorry. She said she talked to me. She goes, you can still have a baby. We went through all the discharge, pelvic exam, my ultrasound. She looked at my ultrasound and she confirmed it. And she said, you know, we can try and work on getting pregnant. She's like, don't give up. There's options. She's like, I need you to schedule an appointment. She goes, we don't need to do a DNC. You had it, like the baby passed way, way early. I mean, not baby, because with the chemical pregnancy, I mean, you guys can look it up. It's a form of a miscarriage. So, I mean, again, it was horrible what I was going through. It was horrible. I felt different. I felt off. I felt something that wasn't right. So I don't know what else I can say. That's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened.